Hello! This week we discussed some of the things that Moroni had written down after all of the Nephites had been destroyed. He wrote down some of the ordinances that we practice today. But where did Moroni learn them? When Jesus was on the earth, he taught his disciples and his followers the many things they had to do to return to Heavenly Father again. The song He Sent His Son tells us about this.
How could the Father tell the world of love and tenderness? He sent His Son, a newborn babe, with peace and holiness. How could the Father show the world the pathway we should go? He sent His Son to walk with men on earth, that we may know. How could the Father tell the world of sacrifice, of death? He sent His Son to die for us and rise with living breath. What does the Father ask of us? What do the Scriptures say? Have faith, have hope, live like His Son. Help others on their way. What does He ask? Live like His Son.
Moroni described each ordinance and how to do the many things we need to do in the gospel. Let's follow his example and break out each part of the song and learn how to do each sign. The sign for how and what is the same. So we take our two hands, lay them flat, palms up in front of us, and then we kind of shake them. And when we're doing this, we want to have a confused or questioning look on our face. Now the sign we're going to use for Father is we take our hand, it's our dominant hand, the one that you use to grab toys or to write. Now I'm right hand dominant, so I'm going to be using my right hand. If you're left-handed, you'd do the same thing. You would just do it with your left hand. So we're going to take our dominant hand, and it's going to be flat, and we're going to put it in front of us at a side, and we're going to start at the top of our head, and we're going to move it down in front of us. Now this is actually the sign for God, but we're going to use it for Father. Father. The sign for tell is take your dominant hand, put all your fingers in a ball except for your index finger, your little pointer finger, and again, our hand is going to be to the side. Put it in front of your mouth and you point away from you, almost like the words are coming out of your mouth in that direction. Tell. The sign for world is you take both hands and make the number 3 with them. Now we're going to turn them palm towards us and on their sides, so the fingers are pointing towards our elbows. Start with your dominant hand on the top, and it goes out in front of you, or in front of the other hand rather, and then around and behind the other hand, and on the top. So it's almost like we're creating a circle with it. World. How could the Father tell the world? The sign for love is you take both hands and they've got fists. Cross your arms towards you, almost like you're giving yourself a big hug. The sign for tenderness is you take both hands, turn the palms towards you, and start kind of towards your face area. And then we're going to move them down. But as we're moving them down, we're going to be bringing our thumb to meet our fingers, almost like we're feeling something very soft and elegant, like cotton balls or fleece or something that's just very, very soft. Tenderness. How could the Father tell the world of love and tenderness? Now the sign for sent is we're going to take our non-dominant hand, and we can either make a fist or leave it flat. And then we're going to take our dominant hand with our fingertips touching the top of the other hand, and we're going to quickly flick our fingers, almost like we're shooing a fly off of our other hand. Sent. The sign for son is we take our dominant hand, it's flat, fingers together, towards its side, so the thumb is facing you, and we touch our forehead, almost like we're saluting. Then we're going to take that hand and make a circle moving away from us. Our other hand's going to come up and be kind of crooked. Our fingertips of that dominant hand are going to go right in that elbow. So it almost looks like we're holding a baby, and we're just going to swing back and forth. Son. Now the sign for peace, so we take both hands flat. Our dominant hand is towards us with the palm facing out. Our non-dominant hand is facing with our palm towards us, and they make kind of an X. Now what we're going to do is we're going to switch and rotate. So we're going to rotate our hands so that our non-dominant hand is now closest to us with the palm facing out, and our dominant hand is further away from us with the palm facing in. Then we're going to take our hands and move them downwards and separate them. So it looks like we're taking that sign for peace and putting it over everybody, so everything's getting that peace. Peace. The sign for holiness is we take our dominant hand, take two fingers together, and we're going to take our thumb and put it in the middle of those. Then we're going to put it on its side with the thumb closest to us. That's actually the letter H. Then we're going to take our non-dominant hand, have it flat, and we're going to take our letter H and put it towards our wrist. Then we're going to move it towards our fingertips. Holiness. He sent his son, a newborn babe, with peace and holiness. Again, we do the sign for how and father. Now the sign for show is going to be similar to the sign for tell. Just instead of having our index finger point to our mouth, we take our non-dominant hand, and it's flat with our thumb towards our shoulder. We take our index finger and point to the palm of it, and then we move it away from us. Show. And then we do our sign for world, our little W's on top of each other, moving in a circle. Now pathway, we're going to take our hands and turn them towards each other and then lay them flat. So our thumbs are pointing up. And then we're just going to kind of move it almost like we're drawing a windy road or a snake slithering through. Pathway. How could the Father show the world the pathway we should go? Again, the sign for sent, son, Now, the sign for walk, we take almost like we're making a peace sign or holding up the number 2, and we're going to flip it upside down so it looks like a man with little legs. In fact, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be wiggling our fingers so it's like 2 legs walking. And we're going to take our non-dominant hand, and again it's flat, and we're going to put our man right on top of it, and then we're going to walk our man. Walk with men. Now the sign for earth, we make a fist with a non-dominant hand, and then we're going to make like the letter C with our thumb and our middle finger, almost like we're trying to grab something with it, or we're holding a ball. There's an imaginary ball in between those, and we're going to tip it on its side and put it around our hand. Okay, almost like it's there, and then it's just going to rock back and forth, almost like we're making a world right there on top. It's a nice sphere. Earth. Now the sign for no, we take our hand, it's flat, and then we point to our forehead, because that's our brain. We're pointing to our brain with our flat fingers, all of them. No. He sent his son to walk with men on earth that we may know. Again, the sign for how could the Father tell the world. Now the sign for sacrifice is we take our hands, fingers separated, and the palms facing us, and then we're going to take our wrists and we're going to flip them so our fingers are pointed up and the palms away from us. Sacrifice. And you want to do that flip kind of quickly. Sacrifice. The sign for death is we take our non-dominant hand, put it with the palm down, and we take our dominant hand in the opposite direction. So it's next to it, but the palms facing up, and then we're going to flip them. So now our non-dominant hand is palm up, and our dominant hand is palm down. Death. How could the Father tell the world of sacrifice, of death? He sent his Son to die for us. Now the sign for rise is we take our hands, they're flat, palms facing up, and they're next to each other, and we raise them up, kind of like we do for the wise man and the foolish man when we do the floods coming up. It's kind of the same thing, but instead of us swinging them together like we do in that song, they're just coming up. Rise. Now the sign for breath is we take both hands and their palms facing towards us, and we put one on top of the other. I just naturally put my dominant hand on top, but you don't have to. It works just as well with your non-dominant hand. So just put one on top of each other with some space in between it, and then we're going to move them away from us and towards us, almost like our chest is breathing in and out. Breath. He sent his Son to die for us and rise with living breath. What does the Father? Now the sign for ask, what we're going to do is we're going to take both of our hands and we're going to kind of put them with just our index fingers in a little crook, and our fingertips are pointed away from us. Okay, and we're going to be moving them up and down. It's almost like a worm squiggling. Okay, and we start them with the palms down, and we're going to start on our left side, and we're going to move them around to our right side as we alternate the fingers crooked and straight. Okay, ask. So the sign for ask is just with one finger pointed towards somebody and crooking it. So what we're doing is we're doing it for everybody. Everybody's being asked, because the Heavenly Father asks all of us to do these things. So what does the Father ask of us? What the sign for scriptures is we take our non-dominant hand, and it's flat, almost like it's holding the scriptures, and then we take our dominant hand and we move it back and forth over it, almost like we're flipping the pages of our scriptures. Scriptures. What do the scriptures say? So, what does the Father ask of us? What do the scriptures say? Now, the sign for have is we take both of our hands, fingers together, and instead of pointing them away from us, we're going to point them towards us and put them on our shoulders. Have. So we have it. Almost like you do with something and it's mine, but instead we're going to take our hands, have. Now the sign for faith, we learned it before in a song. We take our fists, and they start with the hands open on top of each other, and then we kind of squeeze them and move them away from us, almost like it's becoming strong. We have strong faith. Have faith. Now the sign for hope is we cross our fingers on both hands, and we put them kind of shoulder length and move them away from us. Faith, hope. Have faith, hope. The sign for live we've also learned in previous songs. So we take and make L's with our fingers, with our thumb pointing out and our index finger up, and we turn them on their side with the palm facing towards us, and we start kind of towards our belly, and then we move up. So live, son. Okay, the sign for help is we take our non-dominant hand, and again it's flat, and we take our dominant hand, make a fist out of it, and put it with the with our thumb up. Okay, so we've got our thumb sticking straight out, and it's up. We put that on the top, and then we're going to kind of move it because we're helping everybody along their way. So have faith, have hope, live like his son, help others on their way. What does he ask? Live. Now this time, the sign for son is we're not going to sign son, but we're actually going to do the sign for Jesus Christ. So we take our non-dominant hand, palm facing slightly towards us. It's not completely away from us, and it's not completely towards us. So it's kind of slightly towards us. If you've seen the picture of the Christus or of Christ returning, he's got kind of this welcoming stance. That's what we're trying to do. So it's pointed a little bit away from you, a little bit towards you. And we're going to take our dominant hand, and we're going to take our middle finger and move it slightly away from the others. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that fingertip of our middle finger, and we're going to touch the inside of our palm. And that represents the place on Jesus's hand where he was crucified. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to show those wounds. So we take our middle finger and we show the wound on our non-dominant hand. And then we do the same thing where our dominant hand is pointed kind of away from us. And we take the middle finger of our non-dominant hand and we touch the middle. And then we show both hands. What does he ask? Live like his son. Jesus was our true example. Moroni helped us understand the things we need to do. If we do the things that Moroni wrote down and what we've learned about in our songs and in the scriptures, we can return to Heavenly Father. What can you do to light the world?